We're diving into Brighter Shores, a game that mixes exploration, crafting, and a bit of combat in a charming RPG world. Let's break down the gameplay so you can decide if this journey is worth your time. In Brighter Shores, you start out in a city called Hopeport. Here, you'll take on the role of a new guard, learning basic skills like combat, movement, and using spells. Right from the beginning, it's clear that this world is packed with things to do. The game doesn't just focus on combat, it's big on professions. You can try out fishing, cooking, foraging, alchemy, and combat. As you practice each trade, you'll level up and unlock higher skill tiers, which means you'll get access to better resources and earn more income. The gameplay loop is pretty simple. Explore, gather materials, level up your skills, and use what you've collected to craft new items or sell them for money. For example, if you're into cooking, you'll gather ingredients, follow recipes, and sell dishes for profit. Or if you prefer foraging, you'll collect herbs and plants for alchemy. Each profession gives you a different path to progress, so there's flexibility to play the way you want. Or at least, mostly the way you want. Besides leveling up professions, there's a main storyline to follow, and a bunch of side quests to complete. These quests often tie into your professional skills, so you might need a certain level in a profession to progress. For instance, early on, you'll be asked to fix an obelisk, a monument of sorts, which introduces you to the game's quirky sense of humor. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, and you'll see some fun moments in the dialogues and quests. The humor might not make you laugh out loud, but it definitely adds charm to the world. As you complete these quests, you'll unlock new areas, like the Hope Forest. Each new region introduces fresh zones to explore, new enemies to battle, and even more professions to master. So, the more you play, the bigger and more engaging the world becomes. However, some of these areas do have a paywall, so be ready for that. Let's talk about the grind, because it's a big part of Brighter Shores. To progress in the game, you'll need to level up all your professions. Yes, even if you only enjoy one or two of them. You can't just focus on combat and ignore the other skills, as certain quests and areas require a specific overall level. For example, if you reach a quest that needs level 60, that's the total of all your profession levels combined. If you haven't been balancing your skills, you might hit a wall. The game makes leveling clear, giving you guidance on which materials to gather and recipes to follow, but the process itself is very slow. You'll find yourself repeating tasks, gathering the same resources, and crafting similar items over and over to fill up that XP bar. This repetition might be fine for some players, but it can get tedious, especially when you just want to move forward with the story. It's like an old-school MMORPG vibe, a slow burn that asks for patience. Combat in Brighter Shores is simple. It's mostly idle, meaning you don't have to do much besides selecting a weapon and maybe using a potion or spell. When you engage in combat, it's a dice roll system. Your character and the enemy trade attacks based on chance, so your level and gear don't make a huge difference unless you're much stronger than your opponent. This can be frustrating, as even fights that seem balanced can suddenly go south due to a few unlucky rolls. On the bright side, dying doesn't come with a huge penalty, so there's not much risk involved. But if you're looking for action-packed, skill-based combat, Brighter Shores might not be for you. One unique feature in Brighter Shores is the option to gain levels while logged out. Once you've leveled up to a certain point, you can choose to let your character work on a task passively. This means when you come back to the game, you might find that you've gained a level or two and earned some extra resources. It's a nice touch for a game with a slow progression system, and it helps reduce some of that grind. If you enjoy a laid-back RPG experience with plenty of crafting and don't mind the grind, Brighter Shores could be a fun game to sink hours into. It has that nostalgic charm of old-school MMOs, where progress feels earned. But if you're someone who prefers fast-paced action or dislikes repetitive gameplay, you might find it a bit slow and limited. Alright, we've wrapped up our review of Brighter Shores, but if you're also curious about exploring another adventure, why not check out Guild Wars 2? Hit that link and see what Guild Wars 2 has in store for you.